Hello humans, it's just Martine and welcome to week 1 of Whatever You Want-A-Thon. Whatever You Want-A-Thon is a very elaborate and cool month-long readathon happening this June, hosted by Maddie at Book Browsing Blog. I'm on the team Comrades of Chaos, which is basically a catch-all of all other genres that didn't fit specifically into teams, which is pretty much where I fall. So like crime fiction, literary fiction, sci-fi, all of those things, all of my very favoritist things. And since you can get bonus points for reading books that fall into the category of your team, I was like, well, if all my most read genres are going to be lumped together, this is my team. So Comrades of Chaos, let's go. It's currently 6:18 p.m. on Monday, May 31st. However, Maddie lives in England, so she's kicking off the live show at 12 p.m. on June 1st in British Standard Time. And I have been holding myself back from reading all day, and I don't think I'm going to read past this time on the last day of June, nothing that I'd be able to track anyway for the readathon. So I think it's fine to start a couple of hours early. Let me walk you through my first reading plans, or at least the first books I'll be reading this week. Since the concept of this readathon is basically that you read whatever you want, I'm going in loosey-goosey, no TBR, my perfect, ideal readathon. I have some different video projects that I'm working on for in the future, and I have certain books that I want to read for those, but I'm not going to read them in order or anything. So for example, the first physical book that I'm going to read is Thunderstruck by Elizabeth McCracken, which is, did I say Elizabeth weird? I don't know. By Elizabeth McCracken, which is a series of short-ish stories. And that's about all I can tell you about this. And this is for a different video project, so I'm not going to be talking about too much of what it's about, just about my general reading experience. When I update you on all the reading things, I'll tell you where I am, if I'm enjoying it, etc. But if you want a more in-depth review of how I'm feeling, you'll have to wait for that video. Understood? Understood. So there will be some books that I'm reading that are for other videos, and there will be some books that I'm just reading because I want to. I mean, I want to read all of these books, but some of them also have an ulterior motive behind them, like this one. So this is my first physical read, and my first audiobook is only 4 hours long, and I think it's prose, and that is Punching the Air by Ibi Zoboi and Youssef Salaam. And then my first ebook will be Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo, which I've been waiting to start all week since I finished Rune and Rising the other day. Yes, I read all the Grishaverse things in the wrong order. I read the Six of Crows duology, then I read King of Scars, then I read the Grishaverse trilogy, now I'm reading Rule of Wolves. It makes no sense, and I need a slight refresher on what happened in King of Scars. I'm hoping that just reading the first few chapters of Rule of Wolves will fill that in my brain. If not, I'll go and look up a synopsis or whatever. But for right now, I'm just going to dump in. Oh my goodness. So for right now, I'm just going to jump in, but those are my first 3 priorities, and I'm excited about it. So I'm going to log on to YouTube and wait with the others in the chat for this live to begin. Woohoo! I just read the first short story in Thunderstruck while they were doing sprints on Maddie's channel. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm 25% of the way into Punching the Air, and I'm loving it so far. Also, it's going to count for the prompt of, like, reminds you of a pride flag because the colors are similar to, or at least remind me of, the lesbian pride flag, so that's cool. Basically, this is a story written entirely in verse about a Black teenager who is arrested for the assault of this white teenager, and he's found guilty. Contributing to the piece, you have Ibi Zoboi as an author who typically, at least of what I understand of them, works with verse as a mechanism for storytelling. And then you have Youssef Salaam, who is in the like criminal justice reform type areas. So Youssef Salaam brings his expertise of the criminal justice system. And I probably read the synopsis for this book before I checked it out for the library, but I'd totally forgotten that it was about the criminal justice system. Love that so much. It's what I study, and I find it fascinating, and especially looking into like the Black experience in the prison system is really important. And so to see it from a young Black person's perspective in this story is already interesting, and he's just being transported now. So we haven't even really gotten to the main commentary, but already they've compared it to a slave ship crossing to America and talking about, the shackles on the main character's feet and him questioning, where would I even run? And so I think this is going to end up being a book that I really, really love. Good stuff so far. It's Tuesday, 3:17 p.m. and I just finished Punching the Air by Edie Savoy and Yusuf Salaam, and I'm giving it 5 stars because I was really, really enjoying it. I was going to give it like 4 or 4.5 stars, and then I listened to the author's note after. And I knew from it being briefly mentioned in the synopsis that Yusuf Salaam is a prison reform activist, right? And that was already cool enough. And then in the author's note, the authors were talking about why they wrote this story and where the inspiration came from, said that the main character wasn't a reflection of Yusuf Salaam, but was modeled after his case. And I hadn't realized that Yusuf Salaam was one of the boys involved in the Central Park jogger case, a case that we talk about a lot in my degree program in forensic psychology, especially when it comes to obtaining false confessions. So as soon as I realized who he was, I was like, oh my goodness, that's crazy. I know so much about this dude, but I didn't know what his life was like as an adult, just how he was tried when he was younger and the types of false confessions that happened when he was tried with his friends. The story was already great and already had really solid messages about the prison system as it is and incarceration as a form of modern slavery, and all that was very clear. And then to realize, like, yes, it came own voices for people of color, but for it to come own voices from somebody who'd been wrongfully incarcerated was just even crazier and even better. And so I highly, highly recommend it, especially if you're not familiar with the way that the prison system works or what juvenile detention centers are like or what it's like to be tried as a juvenile in America, or tried at all in America, especially for people of color. You need to read this book, and it's a young adult book. So they specifically wrote it to talk to young people about this experience and you help protect them and help them realize what was going on in the country. And I think that's so great. So I think like all people need to read this, especially young people. It's made for them. And it was just so, so well done. And what a good start to Whatever You Want-A-Thon. That's my first book down. So I'm going to go enter it into the spreadsheet and like say that I read it on Goodreads and such, but eep! First read down, yay! And also, I read like 2 more short stories from Thunderstruck earlier and read 15% of Rule of Wolves between falling asleep last night and then this morning. So, great progress so far. Woo! It's almost 9 p.m. and I've been doing a lot of non-stop reading this afternoon and evening, so I wanted to fill you in. I'm only 2 stories away from the end of Thunderstruck, so I picked up my next physical read just to start, and I'm 150 pages into that. I'm reading Identical by Ellen Hopkins. This is also for a different video, so you won't be hearing much about it, just that it's crazy so far. So my hope is that tomorrow I'll finish Thunderstruck, maybe even this, and continue making progress in Rule of Wolves, which I'm now officially 22% of the way through. I have yet to start another audiobook, but I've checked out 3 very queer audiobooks to pick from tomorrow morning. I forget the titles of all of them. It's like Pumpkin, May the Best Man Win, and Felix Ever After. So 2 of them have trans rep, which I'm super stoked to read. That's where we're at. Just finished this book, gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars, and now I'm at 325 points. 2 books read, over 600 pages. Let's go! Happy Wednesday. I just finished my 3rd book of the readathon with Identical by Ellen Hopkins. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. I'm going to talk about it in a different video more, but I did predict the big plot twist, and it was quite long. But I enjoyed it. Good reading experience, and now I'm 3 books down. Woohoo! And at 450 points. Okay, the spreadsheet that I downloaded for this says that I'm at 950 points, but if you take the points that it says that I have and you add them together, it only goes to 450. So I don't know where the extra 500 is coming from, but I'm ignoring that and focusing on the 450 points that I know that I have. Yep, it's 9 o'clock on Wednesday night. I wanted to update you on my reading. So as I told you, I finished 2 books today, and then I got to 38% of Rule of Wolves. I put up a poll to choose my next audiobook, and Felix Ever After won by a landslide, so I'll be starting that tomorrow. And then I also started a 130-page ebook titled Fake Marriage to Her Best Friend, which you'll be shocked to find out what the plot is. She decides to get fake married to her best friend in order to save her political life. I know this is a shock to you too, as it was to me when that plot point hit. Given the title of the book, it's cheesy, but it's fine so far, like nothing overtly bad. And I am reading that for a different video project, so you won't hear much about it. And then my mom, tonight she surprised me with a package from Amazon. She bought me Loveless by Alice Oseman, which I've been wanting to read. I told her I wanted to read it when we were at the bookshop the other day, and we asked if they had it, and they didn't. And so she surprised me by getting it, and I'm so excited to read my first, like, canonically asexual character. Like, I'm so ready, and Bailey thinks I'm going to really like this book, and I trust her recommendations, and I've just been dying to get my hands on this book for so long, and I'm so excited. But I did already decide earlier today that I'm starting my next physical read will be this book called Don't Turn Around that involves like hackers and stuff. We all love a good hacker book. I will be reading Loveless in one of these vlogs for Whatever You Want-A-Thon because I cannot wait. And also the cover will count as featuring my team's color, so bonus points, and then LGBTQIA+ rep, bonus points, and a 5-star prediction. That's a prompt. All of these things, prompts, let's earn all the points with Loveless. So I'm so excited, but that's my update for the night, and I'll talk to you in the morning. Happy Thursday. I woke up, I went on a quick walk with my mom. It's so muggy and humid outside, I feel like I'm dying. So I'm just gonna sit on the couch for a while and read. I think I'm going to start with Fake Marriage to Her Best Friend because my goal for the day is to be able to finish that book because it's really short. It's only 130 pages. I'm already 20% of the way through. I also started Felix Ever After this morning, which was a poll pick, and I'm 6% of the way through. It's interesting so far, and the audiobook is really well done so far. And then I'm hoping to get maybe we'll approach 50% of Rule of Wolves today, but I'm not holding my breath. And then I'd like to just start Don't Turn Around. So those are my reading plans for the day. Crazy day. Let's do it. I just finished my 4th book. I'm now officially over 1,000 pages read. I'm a youngling with 550 points. Woohoo! The book that I finished was Fake Marriage to Her Best Friend, and I gave it 1.5 out of 5 stars, but if you want to hear why, you're gonna have to wait for a future video. Happy Friday. I've had a crazy day so far, so I've only done like 5 pages of reading, but I'm about to sit down and get some more reading done because this video is going to take over 2 hours to upload. I miss the speed of the Wi-Fi at school. All right, it's Friday night. I finished Don't Turn Around because I really wanted to finish a book today, and I was flying through this one. I was on page 93, and it has like 310 pages. I think I can do it, and then my video was uploading. It took forever to upload, and so I did still have like 30 pages to read after it finally finished uploading, but by then I was like, you know, I'm going to finish this tonight. So another book done. Yay. Happy Saturday. It's just past 1 p.m. on Saturday, and I'm here to give you my reading updates. One, I started Loveless by Alice Oseman this morning, and I'm 103 pages into it, and I'm really liking it so far. I really wanted to read this book for a long time because I've heard lots of people talking about it, rating it well and stuff, and it has asexual representation. Part of the plot of this book, which is not a spoiler because it says it on the back, is this character learning about asexuality and aromanticism together. And although aromanticism is not something that I have the experience of, asexuality representation is very important to me, and I've never had the privilege of reading it in a book before. So only to discover that Alice Oseman is asexual aromantic, which makes this book even better than it already is for me, but also that one of her previous books, Radio Silence, which I've heard about before, only the title, and that it's good, like that's all I've ever heard, is about an asexual main character too, and now I desperately need to read that. But I'm enjoying it so far, and there are some things that are making me laugh, not because they're funny, but because they're thoughts I've had before, and it's weird. It's weird to hear somebody have those same thoughts, you know? So it's making my heart happy, and I'm just happy reading it. So big shout out to my mom who got this for me this Pride Month once I said that it had an asexual main character and that I really, really wanted to read it. So I'm enjoying it so far. And then I was also reading Rule of Wolves earlier today, finally recovering after it made me sad the other day. And I'm 73% of the way through that and thoroughly enjoying it. And it's interesting because Kelsey from I Read Today, in her, I forget if it was in the thumbnail or the title from when she read King of Scars and Rule of Wolves, she referred to it as Leigh Bardugo writing fan fiction for her own characters. And that has completely affected the way that I've read this book. So Kelsey, I don't think you're watching this, but if you did, this is your fault, because every time something happens, like characters from a different book walk in or something, I can't help but think about that comment, but I'm still enjoying it nevertheless. So that's where I am. And I think Maddie is doing dart attack sprints for Whateverathon in less than an hour. So I'll jump on those and watch and get some more reading done then. But for now, I'm going to watch YouTube and take a break since I've been reading all morning. So it's just about to be 10 p.m. on Saturday, and I just finished Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo. I gave it 5 stars. There were parts that were slower than others, but overall it just had so many elements and working parts, and I could follow all of them, which I feel like is pretty rare for me, and everything made sense, and there were some plot twists that had me gasping, but not in the way that like that plot twist made no sense, about like that was brilliant, I can't believe you got your characters out of that situation and such, and some beautiful quotes and some funny quotes from Nikolai. And so I gave it 5 stars. I kind of feel like I should have gone back and reread King of Scars now that I've read the Grishaverse trilogy. I'm even wondering if I should go back and read the Six of Crows duology with the information from that infused. If I get a real hankering for a high story and can't find another one through my library, I'll break open my copy of Six of Crows again. But for right now, we're only reading new books. I also started Fresh Complaint by Jeffrey Eugenides. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but I'm on page 35. It's a collection of short stories, and I read the first short story and it was good. It was about an older woman whose best friend has dementia, and I'm looking forward to the rest of it. This is my second short story collection in this readathon, and probably also this year, and I'm really enjoying the vibe of like literary fiction short story collections, so bring it on. I'm excited to continue this tomorrow, and also excited to continue Loveless. So that's it for now. Oh, that's not true. I'm also past the quarter way mark of Felix Ever After, and I'm enjoying it so far, but I don't have many thoughts. That's all I have for now. Well, it's officially Monday, which means that I need to tell you what happened yesterday and then end off this vlog so I can start week 2 of Whateverathon. Yesterday, the only reading I did pretty much was I finished Felix Ever After by Case and Calendar. I ended up giving it 4 stars. I really liked that Felix was not like a perfect main character. He was really angry, and he had every right to be angry, but he wasn't handling it well, and I appreciated that in some ways. I also appreciated the discussion about getting the love that you think you deserve. I thought that was good, and I liked reading about Felix's journey with his gender identity. So all in all, good. And that was a poll pick, but I think I forgot to count it as a poll pick. I'll get this points somewhere else. But that was my first week of Whateverathon. If you liked it, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up and comment down below. Are you participating in Whateverathon? If you are, what team are you on? Is anyone on my team, Comrades of Chaos? And if you aren't participating in Whateverathon, do you have any thoughts on the books that I read this week? And subscribe for more reading, writing, and college lifestyle content. And until next time, bye humans, bye!